Well, hello there. Welcome back to the art room. I'm really glad you could make it today. This time in the art room, we're going to talk about manga and anime and the difference between the two. Then we'll learn how to draw some great manga characters. Okay, welcome back to the art room for our anime manga drawing lesson. I had so much fun doing this one. Frankie and I used to get home after school when we were little, and we'd watch some of these crazy shows on TV. And we're so impressed by all the wacky hairstyles and dramatic movements of what you would call, I guess, Japanimation back then. So what's the difference between manga and anime? Well, really, it's pretty simple. Manga refers to just a flat drawing. It's not animated. It's just one still image. That's manga. And if you flip a whole bunch of them together and make a movie, then that's called anime. So I thought we'd draw a male figure and a female figure. We're going to start off with the female first. If you want to skip ahead to 10 minutes and 7 seconds or so, that's where we start the male figure. And I do these videos at about 8 times faster than human speed. So make sure you stop and catch your breath every once in a while as we're going. All right, so I'm going to take my pencil and just sketch out a circle here, and I'm going to divide it into kind of a segment. You'll notice the segment on the left is a little bit wider. I'm going to make a circle where the temple is, going around the bottom of the face and indicating a nose. Let's bring an eye in here and another eye just below that line that we created. Little nose going in there right over that nose line, and up here on our eyebrows. And let's kind of think about, do we want her to smile? Yeah, we'll make her smile. Of course we will. Adding an ear, but that other ear, no, I'm not going to do that. So at the top of that eye, I'm going to start creating this kind of a neat sort of a eyelash stylized thing, and we're working as light as we can here at this point, trying to not make any dark lines that we can't get rid of, because we're going to be doing a lot of erasing. At least I certainly do. So there's the pupil going in. You'll notice it's an ellipse. It's not a circle. That's kind of part of the anime formula, is that big, gigantic, big elliptical shaped eye. Okay, with the iris inside and some little indications of above the eye with a couple little lines. Let's go back into that mouth and define that a little bit with a tooth and a tongue. Okay, let's darken that in so we can kind of see where we're at. I'm going to add these little stylized eyelashes. Oh yeah, I like that. And try to still stay light with most of the things that we don't know what we're doing yet. I'm going to do so much changing on this picture, but I am socking in that eyebrow a little bit harder there on the left. And let's go around the bottom with a couple of under the eyelashes. Now let's just stop here for a second, because the Japanese eye is such a big thing, and you'll notice these designs I'm making it. Let us shade the top part of the eye and leave those 2 white circles, those reflective areas. We'll go back to that eye in a second, and let's get that eye on the right a little darker. And here we are with those 2 reflective circles again. Hope you can see this. We got in nice and tight for that. And some more eyelashes. Okay, color in that a little bit. And oh, that just looks so neat. It's really what sells the whole anime look, is this magical eye that we do here. And one more big reflection on the bottom that's even catching another piece of light there. Okay, so around the nose, defining that a little bit. Are you doing okay on yours? I hope. Hope you've stopped a couple times. We're flying this one. And inside the mouth with some tone. And I'm going to color in that tongue just a little bit with kind of a nice gray. All right, let's see. So around the side of her face, and the big difference here, of course, with a male figure that we do next is that the female figure has such a soft kind of a baby kind of a look to the shape of the face with a neck. Okay, now when you do the hair, kind of think of like lines on a pumpkin. That's the way I like to think of it. Not that she's got a shape like a pumpkin, but pumpkin lines are in perspective as they wrap around a circular surface. So make your hair kind of free flowing, and in anime, it's the hair is just as big a part of the show as the eyes. It's all about this cool hair flying every which way. Always, always some in our hero's eyes, though. You always got to throw a little bit in their eye just to make it kind of interesting. So down in front of her eye we went. Here I am making some segments of hair, wrapping it around, making sure to change directions as I wrap around. I'm going to change that bit there and kind of make that a little more dramatic. Oh, I like that. Okay. And let's see now, this cover sheet that I like to put my hand on, it's a good idea when you're using a pencil especially. You can smudge everything unless you just lay down a little piece of paper for your hand to go on. So nice little weird piece of hair sticking out there that I threw in, and I'm just refining the whole thing little by little, trying to make it spontaneous. And let's go with some shading here in between to kind of make that area drop back. That's around the back of her head. It's dark back there around the back of her neck and on the side of her neck there. So redefining these bits of hair. I'm using my number 2 pencil for this. So let's give the hair just some gravity here, and I'm going to add some shading to the ends to make it look like it's receding back and kind of shiny. And then we'll start another shiny session up here as we go up. And we'll fill in that little flipsy doodle coming across there. All right, and imagining segments of hair as if a comb has gone through them a little bit, and separating them, leaving a little bit of white in between occasionally to make sure that you can see those different segments of hair, and refining with my number 2 pencil. Here I am getting out my graphite pencil a little bit. It's super dark. It's entirely made of graphite, so there's no wood, and it's a powerful thing. But if you get it out too soon, you can end up being really, really dark where you don't want to be. So I'm continuing to go around and darken in these lines that I'm sure of now. And of course, the graphite pencil blends wonderfully well with your number 2 pencil. Love to hold my pencil down on the side like this. It just gives you a lot more control and a lot more thickness of where you're putting your shading. It's just a really great way to get used to holding your pencil on the side occasionally. And up here on the top of the head, and just defining the hair. Let's give her a little sideburn curl there, and up the side of the head with some more shading. And in this little segment too. See what I mean about the lines going different directions on her head. And under the chin now, we're coming down the home stretch, and we'll add a little suggestion of clothing. And let's clean things up, and we're going to add these cool little ovals. Do I know what they mean? No, I don't. But hey, there's a lot of things I question and marvel at when it comes to anime. And there she is. Wow. She's a happy little thing, isn't she? Thanks for going on that one with me. So hey, next up, we're going to try our luck with the male figure. And we're going to use a lot of the same techniques. This time with the guy, he's a lot more angular. And that's kind of the secret, staying kind of angular. So on with my circle, pull down into a squared off jawline, and I'm going to divide a eye line and a nose line there, add a little ear along the way, up into his nose, and a little indication of that eye on the far side. Let's sketch in this really kind of a neat looking eye with an upper and lower eyelid there. Adding the pupils, which are round this time, you'll notice. A suggestion of a mouth. Make that chin nice and kind of angular. And some eyebrows going in. Okay, nice big thick strong neck too. And let's do some upper eye kind of eyelashes and work in a iris and a little indication of a shiny spot, thickening up those eyebrows and getting a feel for what he's going to look like, gradually pressing down harder and harder, keeping things blocky and real straight on that jaw. That's key. So some details this time into his ear. That seems to be kind of an anime thing, the whole ear detail. Right up into his hair. So think of hair as almost in manga or anime, kind of like leaves almost. That's really what they appear to be, like leaves on a plant, except they're big, thick segments of hair. And here I am just adding some bits and pieces. Let's send those up a little bit higher on his head there. Making it up as I go, adding these bits hanging down. There's one next to his ear there. And a nice big chunk hanging out of the back. And some on the other side of his head. Trying to stay light until I know what I'm doing. And, oh, hey, we got to go in front of his eye again. Just wouldn't be right. A little drama right in front of his eye. And here's some segments I'm going over. Down his neck there, and a neck muscle. Now gradually refining the look. And across the eyebrow and darkening things up a little. Even stronger chin line there. And just defining those bits of hair now that we seem to know where they're going to go. Stay light until you know you're ready for that finish line. Stay light until the very end if you can. Okay, kind of liking him. Let's add some details in that hair around his ear and across his eyes here. A little bit of shading in his ear there to redefine that. And around the back of his head. Still using that piece of paper to keep from smudging my drawing. So as we did with our girl drawing a minute ago, here we are adding some tone to just the tips of his hair to give his hair a little bit of depth, a little bit of refinement. And now I've got my graphite pencil out again, and usually saving that till the very end to get some impressive looking dark places that my number 2 pencil just could never do. Back into his eyes, and some shading around his neck. And how about some shadows of hair there on his forehead? Oh, that's just great. Okay, that's going to wrap things up for our anime drawing session. Oh, that was a lot of fun. I hope you learned a few things, and I hope you didn't get frustrated. And as always, thanks for going along on this journey with me. And remember one more thing. No matter where you go, no matter what you do, you got something to be proud of. You're an artist. So stick with it. And we'll see you right back here next time in Mr. Shay's Art Room.